Happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday. It's October the 4th. It's trending topics. Happy Saturday. I'm glad to see you in the building. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I truly appreciate y'all. As you come in the building, do the diva a favor. Make sure you hit the like button. Tonight's topic is shocking stories, but you know what? Before I get into these shocking stories, I'm going to give a public service announcement. Do a public service announcement. Listen, I love y'all. And when I say that, I truly appreciate y'all for hanging out with me because this, doing this channel, I love doing it. I actually love it. And that's why I can come up here and have a trending topics, and nobody in the trending topics is a celebrity story. It's all just literally stuff that's going on in the news. I could do a video every day because I don't have to do a video that's about a celebrity. But if the celebrity is in the news, then I add them to the story. I'll do a story on them. But I could literally do a story or have a live about anything because I truly love doing it. And that's why you don't see from me a whole lot of exclusive titles. This is exclusive breaking news. And me doing a remix on the title just to draw you in. Because what I do know for sure is I got some regulars, okay? And I appreciate all my regulars. So with that being said, I want to also add this to the public service announcement. No, nobody have to agree with me. I'm okay with that. Y'all don't have to agree with me. Like, I don't know it all, but what I know, and what I feel, and I'm going to stand my ground, and I always tell y'all to stand your ground. And the thing that we all have to understand is that we can respectfully agree to disagree. But when you want to start going below the belt, when you want to start getting nasty, when you want to not know how to use your words, if you ever notice anything I do over here, when I give you a rebuttal, I'll give you some examples to the rebuttal so you can understand the line of the thought process that I'm on. I don't just say, well, I feel this way because this, and that, and that's it. So why am I doing all of this? Last night was a lot because this whole Diddy story is a lot. But underneath the video, and this is someone that I've seen comment in my videos and be in my chat a lot. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I'm going to tell you the scenario. And if you happen to have seen it, you saw it. It was under last night's video. This person is going to say to me pretty much, they hope my kid gets violated and my future grandchildren because they felt I was capping for Diddy. And I looked at the comment and I was like, okay, you're sick in the head. You're this mad over my position and you say that you are better than Diddy, but you can write a comment that you want somebody to be violated and some kids that ain't even been born yet to be violated also. Like, how sick are you? But yet you want to talk about a man that's sick and people, he beat people and he this, that, and the other, but yet you wishing violence on somebody you never met, don't know, and some future kids. And you call yourself better than Diddy? And then they doubled down after I wrote something back to them. They doubled down on it. And I told them, you need help. Now, what's interesting is they erased it. They deleted one of their comments. And I also told them that you're just as sick as the people that didn't leave that relationship. Because why in the world, when nobody's forced to come here, you're not forced to look near one of my videos. Why would you keep coming back to my channel if clearly you don't like me? You need help. And like I said, this is not about a disagreement with Diva, because there was plenty of people, they disagree with me all the time. Some of them love me to death and be like, Diva, you crazy. I'm not with you on this one, and I'm fine with it. We even had somebody in the chat last night who was disagreeing. Tyler, I was like, whatever, Tyler, I'm going to let you live. But when you want to come back and say something so evil and vile, but then you want to act like you better than the person you're talking about, you're crazy. I don't need a subscriber, a like, a click, or view that bad that I'm allow you to stay in my presence with that type of energy. Take that energy to somebody else's channel. Because even on here, y'all have noticed my ride or dies. If the conversation gets too heated, I will shut down my whole video. And there's some content creators that like that because that will rise up their views. That's not the energy I'm trying to bring. I will shut down my whole video. There have been people that called me and said, I said something that I really didn't want to say. Do you mind if you either cut it out of your video or take your video down altogether? And I took the video down. It's not that deep and it will never be that deep for me. I don't know Diddy. Don't know the man. I'm probably never going to meet that man in my life, bump into him, none of that. But right is right and wrong is wrong. And what I also heard too is that I didn't know. I have to see, because people are saying that he also said, he said the 50 months and 5 years probation. I didn't hear the 5-year probation part. And if that's so, that's 10 years. That judge is a hot stinking mess. I'm standing by that and I'm not moving from that. But no conversation that we're having up here should get to the level where you are so low that you're going to say that you wish something would happen to somebody's family and kids. You need help. So do me a favor. You don't got to be in my chat or a subscriber or like or click or comment on my video if clearly you don't like the diva. That's what I love about these subscription channels. You get to choose whether you want to be here or not. And there's some content creators where there's things they don't say and I don't like, and I just be like, all right, I ain't doing this video right here with them today. But I'm not all in their comments like, I hate you, I can't stand you, I hope you die. Like, that is just insane. We're grown, we're adults. The minute you want to go so low and talk about somebody's family and kids, you need help. Seek help, and seek help today. You worried about somebody else and you worried about somebody capping for somebody and you are in somebody's chat talking about you hope something happened to their family and their kids. Diabolical and sick. But one thing you're not going to do, because over here, the diva, I believe in the Most High. God is in control of this life right here. And I'm 55 and I have earned the right to say what I want to say, mean what I say, and stand by it. And trust and believe, since this Diddy thing has started, I got the tomatoes thrown at me, the oranges, the this, the that, whatever. And I kept moving. And it's fine, because like I said, I don't got no problem. That's what makes for a good conversation. If you telling me your side, I'm telling you my side, and maybe we may switch to the other side or come somewhere in the middle or agree to disagree. But like I said, if you want to get low in my comments, then you got to go. Now, I'm sorry I had to do that public service announcement, but we're going to move on because we got a show tonight. It's called Shocking Stories. Tyrese is in trouble. That's why I don't play with these dogs. I really don't. Pets are a high-level responsibility. I think pets is more than the kids. Because if your pet gets out, bites somebody, take the life of another dog, you in trouble. Now, let me tell you how crazy the criminal system is. Tyrese dogs got out, unalived another dog, and he had charges against him, got booked, got a whole mugshot, and a $20,000 bond over some dogs. And this is no disrespect to the dogs. Shout out to the dog lovers. Shout out to the pet lovers. But there are people that have done stuff to human beings and had a less bond than 20K. This is how convoluted the justice system is. But then he went left because he got the dogs in hiding and they raided his home. And poor Nana was detained in a police car over a whole dog situation. We're going to talk about it. Then Eric Adams. Shout out to all the men out there. Y'all love to get with the young bucks. Y'all be in your 50s, your 60s, some of y'all in the 70s, and y'all want to date these young girls. And if you don't know, for the most part, these young girls, they only with you for your money. You get caught up. So Eric Adams dated this young girl. She pretty too. She cute. Now she writing a tell-all book, gonna put all your business on Front Street. And he dated her, and he got her $160K a year job. So he did the most for her. And now she gonna put all his good business on Front Street. You know, the Bible says when a man finds himself a wife, he found himself a good thing. It's bigger than you just finding yourself a wife. It is about you being able to stay out of all of these shenanigans because you connected to a wife. And hopefully, if you're doing the right thing with your partner, you're less likely to be in the streets. Kimmy, I don't know what she is. She looked like she black. I don't know. She a pretty girl, though. But he got caught up. And now she writing a book on tell all the good business. But see, you see, these men, how you go your whole life, you built up a legacy because he started out, Mayor Eric Adams, in the police department from the bottom up, if I'm not mistaken. You did all of that to end your career in shame. Again, a big butt and a smile. The men fall for it every single time. Then you got Denise Rich's hubby. He need money. He need money. So they call him out and about in the streets playing the lotto. Didn't I tell you the other day, I told him he need to go play lotto? Well, he listened. He out there playing the lotto. Good luck to him. I don't know what he going to do. And then if we can, we're going to squeeze in this last story too. And this last story is this teen in foster care. I want to say it was in Maryland. She was found dead in a hotel where they had her in the foster care. You know, the amount of people and the stuff that goes on in these different foster cares and all of that, it's just crazy. It's totally insane. And then if y'all come, we could get to it because I know this story is so polarizing. I didn't even put it up in the title. But if we come and we get to it and we get through these stories in a timely fashion, the Punisher, one of the Diddy S workers, he spoke out. And even he said he thinks this sentence is excessive. You know, the only way we're going to fix the world is first we got to come into agreement and say there's some problems going on. Until we come to the table and agree that there's some problems and there's some issues, we can't move forward to try to fix the issues at hand. But I'll tell you one thing Diva going to do over here on Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. You won't be playing no games up in my chat. We won't be playing no games over here on my channel. Because like I said to that person too, if you ever notice, I never call that president out of his name. We don't play them games over here. We can have adult conversations, agree to disagree, and keep it pushing. Period. Come on now. So listen, people, y'all know what I need in the chat. I'm not spoken up. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It's Saturday Night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Shocking Stories. We got Tyrese, he's in trouble. We got Mayor Eric Adams, his little side piece, his pretty young thing, his PYT is writing a tell-all. We got Denise Richards' hubby, and we got this teen girl mystery. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, Julius. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, y'all.
Hey,
Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Be on your best behavior, please.
Hey, Callie.
Hey, y'all.
All right, y'all. Hey, listen, you know what? Let me go right into let's do this Tyrese story. Now you get in the house getting ready because they're looking for the dogs. So to summarize, Tyrese, you know, his dogs, he said he got them as guard dogs. They kept getting out the house, and just terrorizing the neighborhood. And they went to the neighbor's house and they unalived the neighbor's dog. And the cops told him, turn yourself in, and we want to know where the dog's at. He got the dogs in hiding. And the cops ain't playing with him. Listen, let me share a screen. Let's get into this Tyrese story. The dogs are a high-level responsibility, and I'm good. My son wanted a dog, and I'm like, I don't know. You gotta have vet money, dog food money. You gotta walk them. You gotta talk to them. You go on vacation. You need somebody to watch them for you. I can't. So Tyrese mansion raided, grandmother detained, and body cam footage. Now you out here playing games, and Nana got to get detained because you don't want to tell these people where these dogs are at. Keep your head up, Nana. When the video resurfaces, I will show it to you real quick. Tyrese's grandmother was detained and his house searched when cops executed a search warrant in connection to his dog's killer behavior. And we now have body cam breaking down the incident. The search went down on September the 22nd, and the clip shows officers barging into Gibson's house, marching past a big transformer statue in the mansion's foyer. Fulton County Police and Animal Services look around the property taking photos as they go before the clip cuts out to the front of the property where wait, hold on, let's go. Let's see. He got a nice house. And I don't know why he just didn't turn in them dogs. He told them he rehoused the dogs. What they taking pictures of? Dang, how many dogs he got?
Yeah, he's trying to recover. Okay, we'll just let the owner know if he wants to, talk about getting his stuff back. He's gonna. Okay. I'll give you my card too if you can reach out. Okay. I'm gonna go put her away and get you my card. Okay.
That's a shame, man. Did they handcuff Nana?
This is too short for you, dog.
They talk. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Tyrese's grandmother was detained in his house search when cops executed a search warrant in connection to his killer dog's behavior. And I showed you the body footage. The search went down on September the 22nd, and the clip shows officers barging into Gibson's house, marching past a big transforming statue in the mansion's foyer. Fulton County Police and Animal Services look around the property, taking photos as they go before the clip cuts to the front of the property where Tyrese's grandmother has been sat in the back of a police car. I showed you the clip. It's unclear why she was sitting in the car, but she and everyone around her seems relatively calm. No issues here. As we reported, Tyrese was arrested and booked for animal cruelty Friday morning. He posted a $20,000 bond and was released. Tyrese's dogs are accused of killing another while running around his neighborhood unattended late night on September the 18th. This was done freely roaming. That's the dogs. That's a shame. They probably was looking for food. I don't know what them dogs was doing. Hold on. Video captured them barking at a neighbor's door shortly before they ran across the street toward the house where the spaniel was killed. Gibson's attorney told us Tuesday he was fully cooperating with authorities, though law enforcement sources later said they had no idea where the dogs were. So he rehomed the dogs. Let me just share screen again. It was something else. Hold on one second. Bear Bunny said, "Cool, Joe. Child, them dogs." Let's see. Okay.
Investigators say his cane Corso Mastiffs killed a neighbor's dog in Buckhead. Our Fox News' Christopher King has spoken with that neighbor and joins us now live in Buckhead with more. Christopher?
Russ, Courtney, Tyrese Gibson finally turned himself in. His neighbor who lost his dog in that vicious attack is relieved.
I lost my best friend in the worst way.
The memory of seeing his dog Henry lying in a heap of mangled fur still haunts Harrison Parker.
It's going to take a long time to get used to that.
Investigators say on September 18th, 4 cane Corsos mauled and killed the King Charles Cavalier Spaniel right in the front yard of Parker's home in Buckhead.
I was a little lump of fur. He was just a little white fluff. I in the dark, I almost didn't believe it. It was horrible.
Police say the dogs belong to actor and singer Tyrese Gibson. He lives less than a mile away. Fulton County Police say the dogs have been roaming the neighborhood.
As soon as you start thinking about it, you just fall apart.
Police say they'd gotten numerous complaints of the dogs getting loose. Investigators gave the Fast and Furious star a week to turn himself in. He missed that deadline and refused to hand over the dogs.
He should have surrendered them.
Early Friday morning, Gibson finally turned himself in at the Fulton County Jail.
I'm relieved.
The question that still has to be answered, and he has not answered it, where are the dogs?
Gibson says he rehomed the dogs. Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitt says Gibson has not revealed where.
Until such time as we find that out, it's still an open case as far as we're concerned.
It's kind of scummy to get them out of the house.
Parker says he'll let the legal system run its course as he tries to move on without his best friend.
Nothing would get Henry back, right? And that's really what I want.
Now, Gibson's lawyer sent out this statement, quote, "Throughout this entire process, Mr. Gibson has cooperated fully with legal authorities and will continue to do so. Mr. Gibson once again wants to extend his deepest condolences to the family who lost their dog." Parker says he has not heard from Gibson or his lawyer. We're live in Buckhead. Christopher King, Fox 5 News.
And it sounds like authorities still want to know where those dogs are. Christopher, thanks. We turn.
Julius, your thoughts? Where are the dogs?
Oh, now Tyrese CC, You had me confused when you came out with Sweet Lady. See, mm-mm. It's your fault. These dogs are yours. You got to pay up some dough. Mm-hmm. So you thought you was slick. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. You gotta do what you gotta do. Your dogs unalive that little poor little dog. All because you didn't want to have your dogs in the house. You didn't bother to keep a good eye on them. Mm-hmm. And you didn't want to take them to obedient school. Tyrese. It seems like you a hellion. Yeah. No thanks.
Thanks. Savannah, your thoughts?
Hey, Diva.
Hey.
As a dog owner, and I have small dogs. I'm not a fan of big dogs, but regardless of the size, a dog owner is responsible for the behavior of their dog. They're not considered, or they are considered. Um, what or is it they're not considered property? I forgot what it was, but the dog owner is responsible for whatever mischief that these dogs get into. Now he has 4 King Corsos. Those are some big dogs. They're a male could easily weigh over 100 pounds. And if they're a king corso, those are even larger. And they can't. I have some friends who own these dogs. They can be very loyal. They can be sweethearts. But it's all about the time that you spend with them, the training that they get. um, I read in, I think it was People, that this isn't the first time that these dogs have been roaming the neighborhood. All this story proves to me is that Tyrese is an irresponsible dog owner. And I know there was mention of I'm not sure if it's HOA, but it has been brought to his attention before about the dogs being loose. um, Now, as far as the dog owner, that his dog was unalive by these 4, that's very traumatic, and I would definitely want um I would want him to turn in those 4 dogs. It doesn't mean that they're going to be put down, but they need to check the temperament of these animals and make sure that they are not um, mean, vicious, or are they a danger to the neighborhood? Um, and I did hear and see where he has been hiding these dogs and refusing to give them up. But as a dog owner, you are supposed to take them to the county and get them checked out and see, do they need to be put down? If they're vicious, if there's something in this breed that's making them mean. That's why pit bulls are banned from so many apartment buildings or neighborhoods. Or you have to register them as you having pit bulls. My best friend, she used to have 4. She doesn't have them anymore, but she used to have 4 pit bulls. She didn't have children, but she had 4 large pit bulls, and those were her babies. I would not visit her house. I did not visit her house for over 10 years because I was deathly afraid of these dogs. But they never left her property, and she had large property. They ran wild in the country. But if she asked them to be mean, they would be mean. They would attack. And I just think Tyrese needs to turn in these animals, be a responsible dog owner. I feel sorry for the grandma, but again, here he is defying authority, as he usually does in most of the stories that we do about Tyrese. He's constantly defying authority.
Thank you, Savannah. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. Um, Tyrese should just be lucky that the dog attacked another dog and not a person. I'm not saying nothing bad about the dog. I'm just saying, you know what I mean. He should be happy it was a dog instead of a person. Um, in all that house space, I don't understand why he don't have them fenced in, knowing that they gets out. I mean, there's no way that you shouldn't have like they have what we call it a dog wire, where the dog go past and it shocks them and they won't get out the house or they won't get off the going to the street because they know that little wire is there, and when they step over it give them a little spark so they don't go there. um and I just don't understand why he don't have them fenced in that they can keep getting out. These dogs that smart, they know how to unlock a door. So I'm just trying to figure out, he just let them in the front yard and let them run wild, or they digging their way out. Something is with. I mean, it's just crazy because you got this big house and these dogs keep getting out. Are you keeping them inside the house? I mean, this is crazy.
You
And
know what? I think, Katrina, I'm gonna let you finish, but what I think is, now that I know Nana was there and they detained Nana and he wasn't there, I think probably Nana is there and she can't handle these dogs. And
exactly.
I think they getting out. They kept getting out because like Savannah said, I did read that the neighbor said this wasn't the first time they was roaming the streets. I think Nana can't handle it. And Nana
Yeah,
was dogs and they got out.
yeah, because these dogs, listen, taking care of dog. My son breeds pit bulls, blue blooded pits. It takes a lot. These dogs have to go to the vet. They have to get shots. You got to feed them. You got to watch them. You got to bathe them. You got to. It just. I'm not calling them kids, but basically they are a kid. Just taking care of a dog. I know this one guy. He set a dog on fire. He got 10 years. 10 years for setting a dog on fire. They don't be playing about these animals. And if an animal, bite a person or a human whatsoever, they have that taste in their mouth. And what gets me when people say, girl, come in, that dog ain't gonna bite you. How you know what's in that dog head? You might say the dog ain't gonna bite me, but that dog didn't say that. And my auntie used to have this big dog. Girl, you sound like a lion through the door. So I'm coming. No, I'm not coming in there. But yeah, he should have had those dogs in a fence or guarded or something, or had somebody take care of them dogs. Because now I can't take care of them big dogs because the dogs keep getting out. And go ahead and turn the dogs in. I don't want to see no dog be put down. But your dog did take another dog life, so as they say, an eye for an eye. I feel sorry for the dogs because they the one that failed the dogs. The dogs didn't fail them; they failed them because the dogs doing what dogs do. But we'll see how it turns out, Diva. But that's all I got.
Thank you. Callie, your thoughts?
Poor Henry. Um, they probably are going to put the dogs down, which is why he didn't want to turn them over and why he was hiding until he found somewhere to try to hide the dogs. But this is getting so much attention. He's going to have to turn them dogs over. Otherwise, they're going to put him in jail. This man is probably also going to sue, which he should. This man has been traumatized. His dog is dead. His dog actually did have one of those shock fences, because the way that he was explaining it is that this is kind of in the country where they have a lot of property, and he's like, the lowest quote they quoted him for a fence was $25,000, and he just couldn't afford an actual fence. So that's why he didn't have a fence around his property, but his dog was on his property. So not only did they kill this dog, they trespassed on this man's property. That's too many dogs. When dogs get in packs and become aggressive. I've been chased by a pack of chihuahuas before. All of this, you want to guard dog and
Callie, your thing is giving feedback.
oh wow. Okay. Well, you might have to skip me for now.
Okay, I'll skip
You're
you.
good
Until I
now.
can get off this headset.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I?
Good.
No,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I understand the idea of having these dogs
No.
dogs
Your
down.
feedback is bad. So try to fix it
Okay.
and you'll be in the next story. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, them dogs as good as dead. And if I was that guy, I'd be suing for at least $1 million. My dog has no price on it.
Oh
I'm
my.
emotionally disturbed.
Mm.
He's lucky that it was a dog and not a child or
Yeah.
somebody,
Ooh.
because it very well could have been. Those dogs were not adequately contained. Them dogs looked like they could just jump on the fence and would fall down. Tyrese, just get ready, because the lawsuit is coming and your dog's going to be gone. Because like Katrina said, once they get that taste of that flesh, they're going to want more.
Mm.
And he's already doesn't have them properly, controlled.
Mm.
So he better say his goodbyes while he got him in custody. Because if it was mine, I'd want the same thing. And I'd want to be the one to pull the button.
Mm. Listen, first of all, I don't know where he rehoused the dogs at, but I wouldn't even want him as a person. I'd be like, no, you ain't bringing them dogs to me. Yeah, he's playing around with the law, and the law don't play when it comes to these animals. Because wasn't that Michael Vick? I know he was doing the dog fighting, but he went to jail behind that. They don't play with these animals. Tyrese is walking a tightrope there. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Remember they killed Peanut?
Yep. Yep. Wayne, I ain't messing with you. Oh, in my opinion, your thoughts?
I love dogs, and I think they get a bad rep. There are some dogs that are vicious by nature, but it's also in how you train your dog. And I think there needs to be some kind of seminar that's taken when people want to get these dogs that have a vicious background so they know how to train their dogs. Because I've had dogs that have had bad reps before. They won't attack anybody unless you're coming into their yard. Like, these dogs get a bad rep for being what they are. They're dogs. I just feel like in Tyrese's case, he doesn't care enough to keep his dogs in line. He didn't train them. He don't look like he take care of them the way they should be. I just feel like people like him deserve everything that they gonna get, and he's gonna have to pay the price because this dog was not trained whatsoever. There's no way your dog should be coming out of your property and attacking anybody. If you train that dog the right way, I had a German Shepherd. I ain't even had to put him on a leash. I could walk down the street with him, and if I said sit, he sat. If I said let's go, he was right behind me. Didn't run off or nothing. Didn't attack no children, nothing. I just don't understand these people. They get these dogs and then they treat them like crap. They beat on them and stuff like that and get them all vicious and stuff. And then they're attacking everything that moves.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. In my opinion, we're gonna go ahead and roll right into the next story. I will say this: he's in trouble because you're responsible. You got to keep your dogs on a leash. You got to make sure they stay fenced in. And them dogs was roaming the neighborhood in the pack, and they was looking for blood. I think they was hungry because he left Nana home to be watching all of these dogs. And you see, they took a little dog out of his house. How many dogs do you need? So let me roll into this Eric Adams story. You know, you want to mess with these PYTs? Go ahead and mess with these PYTs, and you're going to see how you're going to pay in the end, because they about their money. And it's the oldest trick in the book, and every man continues to fall for it century after century after century. I'm going to be long and gone, and these men are still going to be falling for the nonsense. A big button and smile. So they get what they get. New York City Mayor Eric Adams' ex, who landed a $160K City Hall gig, is releasing a tell-all book on the secret romance. Eric Adams' hands trembled as he beckoned his girlfriend Jasmine Ray into his Brooklyn Borough Hall office in early 2016 to give her fateful news. The up-and-coming borough president, with whom Ray had shared a 2-year relationship that had blossomed into deeper intimacy in that very office, said he needed space to pursue something greater. He was breaking up with me, and I felt my soul leave my body. Ray recounted in her tell-all book set to come out Sunday, a copy of which was obtained by the Post. Okay, so her soul left her body. There she is. Jasmine Ray says she dated Eric Adams a decade before he became mayor and landed a $160,000 job in his administration. Look at her. Adams appointed Ray as the city's first director of the mayor's office of sports, wellness, and recreation. 5 years later, Adams re-entered Ray's life by text. I just won the primary. I'm going to be the mayor of New York City, and I don't want to do this without you. The whirlwind previously secret romance that Ray, who later landed a $160,000 job in his administration, claims she had with Adams is the subject of her new self-published memoir, Political Humanity. Ray 42 not only details their decade-old relationship, which unfolded long before he became mayor, and appointed her as the city's first director of the mayor's office of sports, wellness, and recreation, but also a slew of other revelations about Adams' seldom seen private life. The book reveals Adam and Ray shared a close friendship at the meeting at a Brooklyn Nets game in 2014. She spilled that it became intimate a year later following an event in the Bronx, after which he took her to his office. He closed the distance like a man stepping into something he couldn't walk back from, she wrote, and then he said, F it. The crystal loving, meditation happy Adams wrote way into his woo-woo beliefs, including by giving her his password for what is that? Gia, a spiritual streaming platform. The politician who would later face an historic indictment over his shady ties to Turkey shared a moment with Ray at a Brooklyn Turkish restaurant. I remember one moment in particular at the Turkish restaurant in Sheepheads Bay, she wrote, when he told me I was listed as his emergency contact. Adams, as the feds expanded their probe, had pulled Ray aside to give her a heads up that she was on their radar. You're on a short list of people that have frequent contact with me, he said, according to the book. Ray started teasing the forthcoming memoir on her social media with a dramatic AI-generated video. This week, after Adams announced that he was dropping his long-shot independent re-election bid, he used one word, resolve. That's what he said. You know, he felt resolved, she told the Post on Thursday about her talk with Adams after he suspended his campaign. She's telling all the business. She says she still talks to Adams every day. But while a production company has already reached out to her about a potential movie, she said the mayor had mixed feelings about her memoir. It's like up and down, like a roller coaster. You know what? She said, I think he likes the book, but he also this is causing a lot of chaos. Like, what the hell, Jazz? The tone alternates between intensely intimate accounts of Ray's relationship with Adams and sometimes biting commentary on the reception of the New York City's second Black mayor. Ray, whose great-grandfather, the Brooklyn Baptist pastor, Dr. Sandy F. Ray, was a civil rights leader close to Martin Luther King, contends Adam was publicly framed for being unapologetically Black. But she also described Adams, who she saw many of his longtime allies facing criminal scrutiny during his tenure as loyal to a fault. I felt like some people that were brought to City Hall should have probably stayed at Borough Hall. She said, everybody can rise to the occasion, and in my opinion, most did, but some didn't. The Fed subpoenaed and crushed Ray amid their probe into Adams, an experience she cast as nerve-wracking. Ray resigned her position as sports Caesar last week, days before Adams revealed he was dropping out of the November mayoral race. She believes Adams shouldn't have given up his re-election bid. I think he made a mistake by quitting, she said. I think the city made a mistake by turning their back on him. The situation is very frustrating and sad, but I hope the city forgives him. I hope he forgives the city. And then everybody just have a good life. Adams hasn't publicly disclosed his prior romance with Ray. He has been in a relationship with a long-term girlfriend, Tracy Collins, for years. The Post reached out to Adams in City Hall, but didn't receive a response. So she still talked to him every day. He got another long-term girlfriend that he's been with. She wrote the tell-all about to tell all the good business. Julius, your thoughts?
Ooh, this
messy.
Like Chicago Joe said, this that good messy. Ooh. Lord, she telling the business. She's talking about how she reached out to him, talking about how he run the primary and everything. And how he dropped out. How he dropped his independent bid. Ooh. You know what? Ooh. The messy said, oh, share a little bit more, girl. Share more. I want to know more. Okay. Ooh, that's a little bit of humor. That just sounds like a feel-good story to me. But, ooh, here's the downside. He has him a whole long-term partner that he has been with for decades. And that long-term partner probably is just figuring out that man is a down-hole, narcissistic, good old dog. But shoot. That girl's making her coin. Make your coin, honey. Okay. Okay.
Savannah, your thoughts?
You know, Diva, this story upsets me on so many levels, but it also explains why Eric Adams has suffered such a huge fall from grace. Because I can remember when he came out on the scenes, how he had so many high political leaders endorsing him. He was on many major news panels and networks discussing not only racial issues, but the corruption in New York City and how he was going to be coming in to do some sweeps. And what frustrates me, he gave this young lady, because she seems extremely young, a high-paying six-figure job with the city, and I'm struggling to find what her credentials were to hold such a position. Researching now, I don't see anything. So this was clearly one of those bedmates where he made sure to keep her close and keep her paid and happy. I don't understand what the purpose is of her coming out in 10, 15 years from them starting this relationship and doing a tell-all book. But I was always wondering what happened to Mayor Adams. Why did he have such a fall from grace? His scandals from the past 2 years. I thought that his best bet was to drop out of the mayoral race. I think the people of New York City have lost faith in him and feel like he doesn't represent them or their best interest. There's been numerous scandals by the police force of New York City, which he is in charge of, and many we have covered here on this show. And it kind of explains a lot. Now you've had your girlfriend being paid close to you, just like the chief did. The police department kept all his women close and paid. So it just frustrates me, and I think he did the right thing. I think this young lady is just looking for 15 more extra minutes and in the spotlight. But I might read the book. I'm interested to see why, because I always wondered, why did he fall from I mean, he was regarded by the Democrats as being the new wave Democrat, like they're a hope for the future. And he has just taken such a tumble, and I've always wondered why. But having this pretty young thing, the old boy was tired. He's probably tired. Then he had another girlfriend, and he had all these scandals. And I remember him being tied to that that pastor that was on, I think it was YouTube, that he got robbed. And now he's in jail for um, squandering money from the government as well. I can't remember, I think it was Whitehead or something, but he used to try to tell a lot on Mayor Adams, and people weren't listening. And maybe we need to go back and listen to what Bishop Whitehead had said about Mayor Adams, because I think there's a lot of corruption there, and there's a lot maybe we still don't know about. But I might be buying the book, Diva.
All righty. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. I'm not mad at the young girl. Um, at least she was there. I mean, I don't, like Savannah said, you don't know her credentials, but how many other people, another race, that put their family members and girlfriends in those positions? I mean, if you can put me in this position and I can make my own money, I'm all down for it. About writing a book and stuff like that, I think I would have held up on that. But people do what they're gonna do anyway. But if you making 150, he got me in a position to make 150,000. You can have the other girlfriend as long as my money is coming in. I ain't got to be with you every night, and I appreciate it. But it seemed like they was friends more than, I guess, the relationship part of it. Because he told her, "What, I don't want to do this without you." So that felt like she meant more to him than the other person did. Because if you this person coming to you and telling you, "I can't do this without you," that sounds like something a husband would tell his wife. Um, but Savannah said she'll read the book. I get the footnotes from her because I'm not finna buy it. Um, and good luck, Mayor Adams, whatever you got going on. But I'm not mad that he put her in that position, because a lot of other people put people in a position that don't be qualified, but they get in there anyway. But that's all I got.
Callie, your thoughts?
Well, I'm not sure how young this woman is. It sounds like she's in her 40s.
She is. She's 42 now.
Okay. But this is the thing. People not gonna walk away with nothing. And times is hard. I don't know if she just want attention or if she needs some money. I don't even know if she still even got that position. But the idea, I think that these
Well, the article
not
says she resigned. The article says
okay.
she resigned once he stepped down from trying to run a second term.
So it sounds like because he was gonna run a second term, not gonna run a second term, the job was probably gonna be going away anyway. She probably stepped down before she was let go. And she needs some money. I don't know if she can find another job that's equivalent to that job. And it's not just men. I'm starting to feel like it's just people in general, where they think that people are going to be in these long relationships with them, not married, not anything, and then they're just going to walk away with nothing and go and be broke. Nobody's going to do that if they can afford it. They're just not. They're not going to be with you for years and you have money, and they're going to leave that relationship broke with nothing. And I wish that people would really just accept that, and act accordingly. Yeah. So go ahead, girl. Write your book, get your money. I never knew you existed. I don't care for this man. I think that he's one of these people that uses his identity as a Black person to get ahead while doing nothing for Black people. And this has become a common thing in politics nowadays. Like, I don't care if you're Black. I care, what is your agenda for Black Americans? That's what I care about. He ain't got one.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
Woo, Wayne, your thoughts? Yikes.
You got to pay to play. Player. You got played. I'm not mad at her. This is her life story. You know, I'm quite sure whatever she was making, she got accustomed to certain things and certain lifestyles. And if writing the book gotta keep her there, you do what you gotta do. Ain't nothing wrong with entrepreneurship. And if she wanted to tell it all and it makes her millions, too bad. That's it.
Thank you. In my opinion,
Let's be clear. Eric Adams is trash. Okay, he's trash, and this girl is trash. They both trash. So they both can both go in the dumpster and set that thing on fire together. I don't want to read the book. I don't really care about how you had this relationship with him and y'all bedroom talk and none of that. I don't care. I'm glad that these corrupt politicians is jumping out of the race, okay? More room for the real ones that's out here trying to do something to better this country, because I am tired of these crooked politicians that's in there only to line their pockets and have their side pieces on the side. I don't need that, okay? What I need is some real politicians that's going to do some real work. And we ain't got enough of them.
Thank you. In my opinion, Felicia, your thoughts? Are you there, Felicia? Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I'm here. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. You know, God bless the panel. God bless you, Wayne, because I knew you was going to comment like that, because you cannot turn a beautiful woman down. I don't care what you did. Okay, I'm just keeping it 100. All right. So, some of you know that NYC is my political playground. So, yeah, on this story and this man, I'm the expert. So I'll answer all your questions. All right. So, the current mayor grew up somewhere, he's saying in Bushwick, and he used to live in the basement, and his mother had 14 jobs. And he used to take his 2 pieces of clothes with him to school every day in a brown bag, because he never knew when he got out of school where he would be living. Okay, so go look at New York Magazine. That will confirm that that's what he said. So with that kind of story coming into play, when he was a teenager, he and his brother, because he's got 6 siblings or 5 siblings, they used to help this woman who had some kind of disability. And they used to go to the store for her and get money orders and things like that. And one day, one of her money orders went missing, and she reported them to the police, because they were part of some alleged group or gang, he and his brother or whatever. And he got picked up. And that's when he had the epiphany that he wanted to go in law enforcement, because a Black police officer reached out to him and told him he didn't have to do this. He didn't have to be this. He can go in a different way. And that's when he said he turned his life around. So fast forward, as he became into politics here, and we're coming into the pandemic, he was the Brooklyn Borough president. And he said that it was very important that he be on the ground and be here to help the people, that he could be here to help fellow Brooklynites survive and live and so forth and so on. So he started sleeping in the Brooklyn Borough office building. So he had a blow-up mattress, and he would hang his Timberland boots in between some pots, and he had some kind of power shaker or something, and a beat-down ironing board and a bust-down iron, and he would take his intimate women partners, and he would be sexing them down in between the desk and the pots and the boots. And so he kind of liked that. So, you know, here in the city, we were in quarantine and lockdown for nearly 2 years. And so this is what was going on. So now let me get to the story Diva read. I had to bring that in. So this woman, what's her name, Diva?
Ray, let me go back to her name. Hold on now. You know I'll be clicking out of it. I want to say it was Jasmine Ray.
Jasmine, right. So Jasmine says he took her someplace. Now let's go to the someplace. As long as Mr. Adams is eating out in a restaurant that is feeding him and giving him complimentary meals and drinks, he is not a vegan. But if he has to cook for himself, he puts his stuff in those shakers. He He said he don't eat beef, he don't eat fish, he don't eat this, he don't eat that. But he used to go to this restaurant called the Osteria, where he was always eating complimentary meals and having a gin and tonic vodkas for $22 a pop. And of course, he didn't have to pay for it. So he was always drinking, he always eating out. But this chick says that he took her to his office and went and closed the door and said, F it. And she thought that was a moment. Wow. Well, did she think she was the first? He'd been effing women down for free in public office spaces for well over 20 years. So if she knows him, she's his friend, she must know that. Right? Now, he has two girlfriends, long-term girlfriends. One of them lived over here in Brooklyn in some kind of co-op share with him. They decided to sell. They moved to Fort Lee, New Jersey. One day, he's getting on the elevator going to where they live. Let's say it's the 8th floor. And he runs into another woman on the elevator, and she lived on the 3rd floor, and he started a relationship with her. So he would say he was working late when he would be downstairs effing down that woman, or working late when he's with the woman upstairs, or laying down with people in the office. Now, when he was sworn in, he was the first mayor to ever sworn in an entire female deputy mayor team. So the question was who was going to get Monday night on the blow-up mattress, Tuesday night on the blow-up mattress, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The man is a pig. He is for the streets. He's a lowlife. He's an indicted criminal. He is all of these vile things. So I'm hearing he had esteem. He was esteemed. He was the future. Look, I'm right here. No, he wasn't. And no, he ain't. So why she wrote this book? It's not because he doesn't have money. It's because he's cheap. He didn't give her no money. He took our tax dollars to create some BS job for him to compensate her so she could feel important. Why did she resign? My guess is they were probably getting ready to indict her. His girl Ingrid, his ride or die, she got indicted, handcuffed, and had to do a perp war. This career been over. And who he is who he's been. So no, there's no good things coming out of this thing. Jasmine, she is so attractive. I would have just stayed quiet. But I gotta wonder, based on that Jeffrey MT thing, maybe she was doing a lot of that stuff down there at the NYPD too. Because in one of the interviews, the mayor said he loves to go over there to One Police Plaza because you had views of the 3 bridges, and he would love to take his intimate partners there. Well, we know what was going on down at One Police Plaza. So she must be in real dire straits. So no, Wayne, give her a call. Hit her up on the Instagram. I think she's available. And I don't think you have to feed her based on what she said.
All right, y'all. Let me roll into this next story. Denise Rich's hubby. He's struggling. He's strapped for the cash. He out here playing the lotto. I guess he got $1 in a dream because Denise is not giving up her funds. Hold on one second and let me share screen. So Aaron locked out of joint bank accounts. Might as well try the lottery. So there he is. They be narrowing in. Caught him with his little lottery ticket. Aaron has filed docs to the court about his financial troubles amidst his messy divorce. Now it looks like he's changing up his approach, looking to hit it big with the lottery. The estranged husband of Denise Richards walked into a liquor store in Calabasas earlier this week, and he walked out while holding a stack of red and white papers we're told are lottery tickets. And they showing you the pics. Aaron has a serious look on his face and certainly a lot on his mind. We broke the story that Aaron asked the judge to allow him access to the joint account he says he shares with Denise, adding he needs 150K ASAP in order to survive. He says the amount he's asking for is only a very small percentage of the overall amounts in the accounts. But if he doesn't get them, he claims his family will be evicted and homeless. As you know, Aaron and Denise are going through a nasty divorce. Richards has accused Aaron of abusing her, while Aaron has accused Richards of cheating on him. They each denied each other's claims. Cops were called to their home where Aaron is living with his family back in August when Richards showed up at the house to pick up a dog, even though Aaron has restraining order against her. Aaron's recent luck hasn't been great, but it looks like he's trying to turn it all around with one big win. Aaron, I hope, for your sake, maybe you're hit for 150,000 something. He needs money ASAP. Julius, what else you think Aaron can do? He needs the money so him, Nana, his mama, his papa, and the brother won't get kicked out and be homeless.
JOB.
Oh, okay.
And quit being a JELLO, gigolo. I think there's an I in there, but Because see, Denise money, her money. That's her money. That's her dough. That's her coin. Right? We talk about when the women do it, we say protect your hustle. Get yours. Don't depend on no one. Same thing for the men. Have your finances locked out. Get a JOB. Quit being a gigolo. And quit being dumb. You and your brother could both, if you're able, get a job. Stop crying. Stop living on your ex. I can see why she left this man. Living on her dime. Aaron, get a job and quit being a dumb-headed gigolo. And maybe you can find a respectable woman and stop having your family leech off of you. Oh, but wait. You don't want to live within your means. Oh, wait. Ooh. Too bad. I don't feel sorry for this clown. That's it.
Thank you, Savannah.
I don't think this man has ever had a job since he got with Denise. I think Denise was his source of income from the beginning. And she knew exactly who he was from the beginning. He has substance abuse issues. He is abusive. Oh yeah, she suffered a few black eyes. This is why they're getting a divorce because of this man. So I agree. I don't understand how these men attach themselves to women who have made a name, or whether it's a B-list celebrity, or I'm thinking of there's a few others like Britney Spears' ex-husband, the last three of them, and that have no real source of income, no jobs, and they attach themselves to these women who do have a name for themselves in the industry. Because Denise, although she struggled with not just the aftermath of being tied to Charlie Sheen, but she's also had a few substance abuse issues that she's been overcoming, as well as the things with her daughters. But Denise still has always had money coming in, and she does have a hustle. So I don't. These men go attach themselves to these women and think that they can have access to their bank accounts for life, and 150 in Calabasas, that's not going to even cover 3 months of expenses for him, especially since he continues to battle with substance abuse issues. So I don't think any judge in their right mind would give him access to her bank accounts, especially when I think there's protective orders against him currently. So go ahead. I wish him luck with the lottery tickets. I heard the jackpots are a little large, and he definitely needs to go to rehab first before he thinks about getting a job in society and live within his means. Is the advice I would give him.
Thank you, Savannah. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, as I said once before, you attract what your energy is. Denise was not all clean when she left Charlie because her and Charlie was doing some stuff. And, she got out their relationship and, she, like I said, she was on movies. She was on Bold and the Beautiful. She's on Housewives. Um, but if you knew this man didn't have no money when you got with him, where do you think the money was going to come from? And if he's using substances, what makes you think that you're not going to fall back into it because you're around it again? Um, but yeah, maybe he can go by him and his mom and them a tiny home, and they can live in a little tiny home somewhere. Because as Savannah said, 150,000 in Calabasas, baby, you need to go, as Diva would say, get a studio apartment. Have grandma in one corner, mom and dad in the other corner. You sit in that corner, and the other one sit on the porch. Cause these women, they give too much of their money away. It's for no reason. This man ain't had no job when you met him. So what make you think you finna get one now? You was the gravy train, you fool. And the thing of it is, um, hopefully she didn't slide back because she was weird on them housewives. She was just weird. And both of them need help if you ask me. And if she in California, I thought it's like that 50% property law, a matter of how I'm accustomed to
They
living
was
with you.
renting. They was renting. That's how she getting away with it. They was renting.
Okay, I knew something was up. But
Mm.
yeah, he better go get him a little studio apartment, put the mom and them in like a dollhouse, and maybe they'll be better. But that's all I got. Good luck to both of them. Bye.
Thank you. Callie, your thoughts?
When I watched Denise's reality show, I found it something was real weird that his family was staying in her house to the point where she was going to go stay in her house that she had as a rental. At that time, I didn't know that she was renting that house. But that whole situation was just like, I'm like, what is going on? And then she's on there saying, I would never get a divorce. I'd rather just be miserable the rest of my life. Next thing you know, he's filing for divorce. This whole thing has been wonky. He was extremely aggressive with her when she was on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They were both showing up inebriated, not wanting to film, all of this stuff. I got an extremely like an abuser vibe from him from the jump. I don't know what in the world happened to this holistic medical practice he was supposed to have. Where is that at? Or you still got it, but you want to live beyond your means. I don't know which one is happening. Now, Aaron, you can take yourself right on down to OnlyFans, like Denise is doing, and make you some money. We've seen what Denise is talking about, so you would be fine on OnlyFans. This is not going to happen. Y'all have not been married long enough for the judge to give you half of this woman's money, and y'all probably got a prenup anyway. So Aaron, they have no children together. He's trying to claim that her adopted child is his child, but I don't know if he ever legally adopted this little girl. Denise, to me, she almost seemed like a sucker. I mean, she's got a bunch of dogs because, like, she went to adopt a dog, and they were like, "Well, we don't want to separate the dogs," and so she kept taking in the dog siblings. So now she got all these dogs. It's always a lot of drama with her. She got her nephew who's a crackhead who was stealing her purses and stuff. It's always just a bunch of drama with her. But I mean, Aaron, you wanted the divorce. Denise wasn't gonna divorce you. But I don't know if you wanted the divorce because she stopped giving you money. Maybe that's why. I don't know what it is. Maybe she told him she wasn't gonna pay for that house no more, and that's when he wanted to divorce her. But I don't know if Denise really can afford to keep paying for them people to live in that house. realistically speaking, I don't know if she has that kind of money. I don't understand what happened to the parents' house. Like, all of this is crazy. And it was never explanation. He came out saying, I have never abused my wife emotionally or physically, but had no explanation as to what happened to her eye. Like, if you didn't do it, well, then you should be able to tell us what happened to her. No explanation with that. He did a whole expose, I think on Entertainment Tonight or Extra, where he brought these cameras into the house to show how nasty the house was, saying she had all this vintage clothing that was eaten up by moths. The house was nasty, but it's like, y'all living in the house. She's not. So if the house is nasty, it's like everybody's fault. Then when she went over there, because the main thing they complained about is the dogs. They said she left all these dogs over here. So she goes to go pick up the dog. He called the police on her. This man is a trip. Aaron, you need to go on somewhere. And I do feel like he's one of these gigolos because he used to be married to Nicolette Sheraton, who God only knows how much money he got out of her. Or some other old divorced woman in Malibu. Aaron is something else. And Denise, please don't get married no more. I have a feeling she will, because I'm sorry, she just got sucker written all over her. But this gotta stop, and he needs to go somewhere.
Thank you, Callie. Wayne?
All I can say is I don't know these people, but do like everybody else do. Start a GoFundMe. Because your side, they love to give the frivolous stuff. So just start a GoFundMe, and they gonna give. That's it.
Thank you, Wayne. Not a GoFundMe, in my opinion.
So first of all, Denise is gotta be by far the dumbest person in Hollywood, okay? She loves to get with people that are on the substance, knowing that she has a problem with the substance as well. I took it as the first time, okay, she didn't know, because she don't like to tell the story that she didn't know Charlie Sheen was on the substances, and she would never do that again. And then she got with this man, and she was all ghost out of her head all over the show. She had a coat on upside down and backwards, and they was talking to her, and she was all dazed and stuff. Listen here, I need Denise to get it together, okay? Aaron is another one that is a scammer, okay? He's out there scamming every Hollywood woman that will take him, okay? So to all the people out there in Hollywood, run when you see Aaron, okay? He loves to take these side gigs and say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They give him this money to start his business, and it goes nowhere. Quit scamming the women out there, Aaron, and get a job.
I thank you. In my opinion, Felicia.
I don't know their stories. I did see Denise on the Charlie Sheen piece. She didn't look good. But what struck me about this story is how it's connected to the first one. Seems like the grandmothers is getting cleaned up, thrown out, can't find no place to stay. It's a damn shame. I know the economy is bad. I share with you all, protect your resources, your good health, your shelter. But these people aren't getting the message. It's not looking good for folks over 90. This is sad. It is very sad. So I hope they work something out where at least the great grandmothers can. I'm embarrassed, but this is where we are. So I hope they work something out so she can come on off the street. I'm done.
I hope so too. I appreciate you. I'm gonna roll into this next story where the teen, it's a mystery about what happened to her. It's pretty sad. She had some mental health issues. She was in like a facility, so to speak. And let me go to it. And then she was just found dead from Maryland. It's a shame. Let's take a listen.
Are pushing for change in the state of Maryland after a foster teen from Prince George's County died while in state care. Kanaiyah Ward was 16 years old. She was found dead in a Baltimore hotel where she was being temporarily housed. News 4's Darcy Spencer has the latest on the search for answers and accountability.
Kanaiyah Ward was 16 years old and living in foster care for the last couple of years. An attorney for her family says she struggled with mental health issues. Her family stayed in touch with her and, according to their attorney, tried to get her out of the Baltimore hotel the state had placed her in. Then the call came last week. Kanaiyah had been found dead in her hotel room.
100 North 4th Street, says Marriott Room 1109, possible DOA.
Thomas Doyle is an attorney representing Kanaiyah's family. He said Kanaiyah came from a loving, stable home.
This wasn't a situation where she had abandoned her daughter or anything. Quite to the contrary. She was fighting for her daughter to get the help she needed and to do everything she could from the position that she was in.
Baltimore police were called to the hotel for a possible overdose. Investigators are calling the circumstances surrounding Kanaiyah's death questionable. So far, there's been no official cause of death from the medical examiner. Kanaiyah is one of hundreds of kids in the state's foster care system that have been placed in hotels in recent years. She was expected to have one-on-one care by one of the state's vendors. In a statement, the Department of Human Services said in part, the department is investigating this incident. If we find out that our standards for care were not met, we will hold our contractors accountable.
You know, Mom was diligently trying to get her out of there and into, a facility that, because she was not getting any care for the mental health. That much we know. And, other than medication.
A recent 4-year audit of the State Social Services Administration found 280 foster kids were placed in hotels under the supervision of a one-on-one vendor between 2023 and 2024. Dozens of kids had stayed in hotels between 3 months and 2 years. The report says the providers were not licensed and didn't go through criminal background checks.
Absolute outrage.
That's how Maryland Delegate Mike Griffith describes his reaction to Kanaiyah's death. Griffith grew up in Maryland's foster care system. He's drafting legislation called Kanaiyah's Law. It'll require training, licensing, and criminal background checks for providers.
How many foster kids now in these hotel rooms, in these group homes, look at this and now may think, maybe I'm next. What's going to happen to me?
Kanaiyah's family is searching for answers and accountability. They want to make sure this never happens again.
Changes need to happen. I realize budgetary concerns and this and that, but if we're not protecting the children, then we're all failing.
Darcy Spencer, News 4.
The Department of Human Services says the vast majority of foster kids are placed in homes, and the department is committed to ending hotel stays for foster kids. Right now, 18 young people in state care are staying in hotels.
So sad. Let me share screen again. Hold on one second. What happened to Kanaiyah, the teen girl found dead in a hotel while in Maryland foster care? Maryland lawmakers and advocates are pushing for change after a teen from Prince George County died while in state foster care. She was found dead in Baltimore hotel where she was being housed temporarily. Kanaiyah Ward was 16 and lived in foster care for the past couple of years. An attorney for the family says she struggled with mental health issues and came from a loving, stable home. Her family stayed in touch with her and tried to get her out of the hotel the state placed her in, he said. Then the call came last week that Kanaiyah had been found dead in her hotel room. This wasn't a situation where she had abandoned her daughter. Quite the contrary. She was fighting for her daughter to get the help she needed and did everything she could from the position she was in, the attorney Thomas Doyle said. Police were called to the hotel for a possible overdose. Investigators called the circumstances surrounding her death questionable. There was no immediate cause of death from the medical examiner. Kanaiyah is one of the hundreds of kids in the state's foster care system to be placed in hotels in recent years. She was expected to have one-on-one care by one of the state's vendors. The Department of Human Services said in part, the department is investigating this incident. If we found that our standards for care were not met, we will hold our contractors accountable. Mom was diligently trying to get her out of there and into a facility because she was not getting the care for the mental health. That much we know. other than medication, Dole said. A recent 4-year audit of the State Social Services Administration found 280 foster kids were placed in hotels under the supervision of one-on-one vendor between 2023 and 2024. Dozens of kids stayed in hotels between 3 months and 2 years. The report says the providers were not licensed and didn't go through criminal background checks. Mike Griffin said Kanaiyah's death is an absolute outrage because he grew up in the system and he's drafting a law on her behalf. How many foster kids now in these hotels and these group homes look at this and now may think, maybe I'm next. What's going to happen to me? Griffin said. Kanaiyah's family is searching for answers and accountability. They want to make sure that this never happens again. Changes need to happen. I realize budgetary concerns and this and that, but if you're not protecting the children, then we're all failing, the family lawyer said. The Department of Human Services said the vast majority of foster kids are placed in homes, and the department is committed to ending hotel stays for foster kids. Right now, 18 youth are staying in hotels. This is sad. Julius, your thoughts?
The state system dropped the ball here. Even though the legal age in most states is 16, she was still in their custody. I would still be going around doing like safety checks just to make sure the kid is in her room, making sure she's safe, making sure she's not talking to someone she has no business talking to. Like I said, the state dropped the ball. Are they going to change? Probably not. But they have to take responsibility here.
Savannah?
So this young lady was failed by a system, a family. It's just a heartbreaking story. I never knew that they did that they housed foster children in hotel rooms. So that's new to me. I didn't even think they could do that procedure because they're still children. So, and then their caretakers or overseers are not even trained. There's no training. There's no background checks. You could have P-files or people with criminal records. This system is so broken. And unfortunately, this young lady who was suffering from mental health issues, nowhere in the story did I hear that she was getting help for mental health. And I think that was her biggest challenge that she was going through. I'm struggling with, they said she came from a loving home. It couldn't be her initial home because something placed her in foster care to begin with. So if it was the foster family, I think we just need to know more on the story. What did they do to get her the mental health support that she needed? And what is the state willing to change I think this placement of children in hotel rooms by themselves, it needs to end. I don't agree with that as a solution to the problem that we have with foster care. And it's hard for these young teens and almost adults because a lot of these children age out of the system. And when they do, the system doesn't prepare them for what's out there in the world or doesn't give them much resources or doors to opportunities. They're just thrown out into a world that is not designed to take care of them. So it's unfortunate and it's sad, and I hope that the state learned a lesson and that her passing is not just a missed opportunity for changes.
Yeah, I agree. Katrina?
My thing is, I know you hate when I do this, Steve, but I'm a lifetime watcher. And I remember seeing an episode of the foster care had these girls in these hotel rooms and they was pimping them out. Me personally, if you're 16 years old, you got mental problems. Why don't you have her in a mental hospital? Why is she in a hotel room? She should be in some place where she can get help. The family said they was trying to help her. Okay, if she's in a hotel room taking medicine, why can't she be at home taking the medicine so she can be looked over or making sure she's taking the right dosage instead of sitting in a hotel room? By no means, and I might be wrong, I don't think she did the S. I think they probably had something going on. These people, they probably pimping these girls and stuff out, and somebody took advantage of her and offed her. I hope I'm wrong, but I see too much of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff, and that's what I think is happening. They was having these kids in these hotels, and they was pimping these children out when they was in the foster care. Um, and I said again, if she having mental problems, why she's not in a mental hospital or somewhere stable so you can always making sure you watching her. You got her in a hotel room. Be for real. That's bull crap. And the person that the family saying they was fighting to get her back. It's more likely if a person is fighting to get a person back from a foster care, they have a little luck. And I don't know what condition this girl was in, so I can't say. But me myself personally, she should have been in a mental hospital or she should have been with her parents or whoever she was with so they can monitor her medicine. Having a 16-year-old in a hotel, you don't know who's following them in, you don't know who's doing what. It's something sketchy about that. I just don't feel right about that. And hopefully, Diva, you can stay keep us in tune because I don't think she did the S. I think somebody else did it and trying to make it look like she did the S. But that's all I got.
Good, Callie, your thoughts?
All of this is so weird. You have a teenage girl with mental health issues staying in a hotel that's provided by an unlicensed vendor. None of this makes any sense. And I do know that society-wise, we have a deeper issue because we want to have a civilized first world country, but we don't want to pay for mental health treatment. So overall, we have people with mental illness living and sleeping on the street, attacking people if they're violent. This is an ongoing problem that we have as a society of not accepting the fact that we need to provide health care for people with mental health issues. We can, there's no way around it. You even got people suggesting that we unalive them. Like people have gone that far. This is I don't know what extent this girl's mental health issues were. And it's very bizarre to me if she came from a stable home and she's not in a rehab type facility, why couldn't she be at home? So there's something about this story that they are not telling. What is she doing in this foster care? Like maybe is it that the home wasn't stable a decade ago, and now the mom has now gotten herself together and is trying to get her, but they're not wanting to let the girl live with the mom? It might be one of those type of weird situations. I don't know. Something is amiss here. I don't understand this hotel stuff. But I guess maybe they don't have anywhere else for them to go because we don't have orphanages anymore. And if they're not people that are licensed to have them in their home, but then how can these unlicensed people have them in the hotel? None of this makes any sense at all. I don't know. Our system here in LA don't work that way, but we also got probably thousands of kids that have run away that are literally out there on the street selling themselves. So our system here don't work either.
Thank you, Callie. Wayne?
Pass me, Diva.
Okay, in my opinion.
I do agree that when it comes to mental health, there is a big gap in getting help and the assistance that you need, especially for a family that doesn't have access to pay for the fees that are astronomical for mental health services. And when I say that is the ones that have to, pay out of pocket You know what I'm saying? Like most insurances don't even pay full price for it. But if you have to pay out of pocket, then those fees add up. So they go to places like they have a sliding scale. And even those are still pretty pricey. 2 years is a long time for her to be on a waiting list to see a mental health facility. I've never heard of any state ran foster care system that waits 2 years to have a child seen. But in this story, it said she was there for 2 years and her appointment was coming up. I just don't understand why it took 2 years for her to get an appointment to be seen about mental health. My second thing that rubbed me the wrong way about this story was a 16-year-old staying in a hotel by herself. Now, what we doing that at? You can't leave a kid at home by themselves, but you can leave a kid in a hotel at 16? A parent would actually be locked up if they left their child at home or in a hotel at 16. But y'all state laws is letting y'all put foster kids in the hotel. And they said it's like 16 of them that's still in there. Who is watching these kids? Why are they there by themselves? These kids are not adults. They still kids. And at the end of the day, a kid is going to be a kid. And it's even worse when you don't have your family around you. I just feel like it was so many balls being dropped. And then where are we at that we're not doing background checks and we haven't ran nothing to make sure these kids are in safe environments? Like that should have been one-on-one. I just don't understand how all these balls was dropped. Yes, of course, y'all want to say it's really strange to me that they wanted to say that she overdosed, but you don't have a cause, because they could tell right away if she had overdosed. So them telling me that they didn't have a cause lets me know this was something worse than overdosing. And I definitely want to know.
I appreciate you, in my opinion. Felicia, your thoughts?
It's really very sad to me. And so I'll pass on the comment. Thank you.
No problem. All right. So I'm going to just go ahead and squeeze this in really quickly, because the true victim, one of the true victims, I'll say, in the Diddy case, spoke out and he said, this too much. Let me share a screen real quick. So Azada Dancer, who testified during the Sean Diddy Combs trial, weighs in on his sentencing. There's a genuine remorse. I have a ton of empathy, and I actually feel very sorry for the guy. Dancer Sheree Hayes said of Combs. The male Azada Dancer, who testified at the Sean Diddy Combs high-profile federal sex crimes trial, is opening up about the music mogul's 50-month prison sentence. Sheree Hayes, also known as the Publisher, spoke to TMZ and the Daily Mail after Combs, 55, was sentenced to more than 4 years in prison on Friday, October 3rd, following a nearly 2-month federal trial that ended with him being convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution in July. He was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Hayes told the outlets that although he initially believed that Combs should have been sentenced to time served and still believes a 4-year sentence was an overreach, he changed his mind that the judge Aaron Submaranian shared his reasoning for the prison sentence, which also included 5 years of supervised release and a $500,000 fine, the maximum allowable fine. I don't want to be invalidated, and I don't want to invalidate anything the victims went through. And I have been thinking of Cassandra Cassie Ventura, he said, sharing that he was glad the victims received justice. This is a man who did terrible things. But the world is so harsh because everybody thinks his remorse is not real. This guy's life his fall from grace is a devastating circumstance. Hayes continued to the Daily Mail. I have a ton of empathy and actually feel very sorry for the guy. I believe there's a genuine remorse. He did add it of Combs, noting that he believed the music mogul's time in jail and public attention were enough. Hayes also opened up about the emotional scene in the courtroom after Combs was sentenced, as some of his children who were present began to cry. Hey, look, I'm a grown man. a tough guy named the Punisher. And even I was even I was about to ask for some tissues. Hayes said it was very, very hard. Felt very heart wrenching. It was very eye opening, and it's making me look at this situation from a different lens. Hayes also told the Daily Mail that he wanted to be in the courtroom during Charles Combs' sentencing for his own closure after testifying in May. At the time, he told the jury that he was paid $800 to stage a sexy scene for Combs and his then girlfriend Ventura while avoiding eye contact with the music mogul. He also testified that Ventura handed him a stack of money with $800 inside and told him to create a sexy scene of me and her applying baby oil on each other and create a sexy environment that her husband would come upon. Ventura also gave 4 days of emotional testimony alleging she was physically, sexually, and verbally abused by Combs during a relationship that began in 2006 and ended in 2018. The dancer who authored the book In Search of Freezing Me, which includes a 6-page description of his encounters with the hip-hop mogul and Ventura, though they are not explicitly named, said he was hiding in the house after his testimony due to the attention on the case. Although I've done a bunch of interviews to try to create a different narrative about myself, I think subconsciously I just felt like, man, I'm in the middle of all this stuff, Hayes told the Daily Mail. It wasn't easy. But coming out here in public, and I have to say the majority of the people are responding to me positively. There are some people that, turn their face up at me when they see me or whatever. It is what it is, he added. But I think I needed to just experience this head on because it's coming to a place for closure for me. Combs was convicted in July on transportation to engage in prostitution charges, but was acquitted of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. Prior to being sentenced, Combs apologized to his former girlfriends, friends, and family, calling his behavior disgusting, shameful, and sick. He said that his children deserve better and that he failed his mother as a son. At Combs' sentencing on October 3rd, Judge Subramanian said a lengthy sentence was necessary to send a message to abusers and victims alike that exploitation and violence against women is met with real accountability. The judge discussed Combs' so-called freak-offs, the choreographed sex parties he orchestrated, and said he rejected the defense characterization of them as intimate, consensual experience or just sex, drugs, and rock and roll story. The Punisher spoke. Julius, your quick thoughts?
I believe when I shared my commentary yesterday, this was the guy I was referring to because I believe he spoke to CNN. Again, he dealt directly with Cassie, not Diddy, and that's what he testified to.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy was basically convicted for being a swinger. Now, even though that's not my cup of tea, it's not a crime. And as for Cassie, girl, bye.
Thank you. Savannah, your thoughts?
I still stand by what I said last night. I think the outcome is exactly what he needed. I think it was justified, and I see Sean being out and doing no more than 2 years. And depending on where he goes, I think he's a celebrity. It's not going to be one of those hardcore prisons. So I don't see this being too long. He'll be out soon. So I still stand by what I said last time.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Diva, I'm gonna withhold my thoughts for this because me, I'm mouthy, and I've been said something I shouldn't say, and if somebody come at me in the comments,
All right, let's go then. That's fine.
there you
Callie,
go.
your
So,
thoughts? That's fine. Callie?
Well, one thing I can say about the workers, for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
they are taking autonomy when they really didn't have to, because most of these workers were actually talked into doing this. They weren't actively working. There was only one who was actively working. as an escort, and he still was lied to and told that they were a married couple. This was a special thing that they were doing, and that they don't do this with other people. So even that guy, who was actually a worker, was lied to. The other men that we're aware of, and we're not aware of all of them, some of them just gave a written statement. They actually were male exotic dancers who were initially hired to dance at a party that did not exist. And when they got there, there was a beautiful woman who said her name was Janet with a wig on and a stack of money and a bottle of baby oil. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's what happened. Aside from all of the corruption with this crazy judge, because I do feel that what he did was crazy. You should have sentenced him for what he had been convicted of. You know, and there was a reason why he wasn't convicted of DV, because nobody never called the police on him. There was not one 911 call. There was not one restraining order, because you know why? They wanted to be there. I just kind of feel like this is a situation where people don't want to take accountability for their bad morals. You know what I mean? You got to have some morals about yourself. Yeah, a man may offer you some substances. Yeah, a man may ask you to do something kinky. You got to have morals and say, that's not what I'm into. And if he stopped talking to you, he just stopped talking to you. This whole thing to me is ludicrous. And to be I just want to be very clear. I am not a fan of Diddy, and I disagree with him on a lot of things outside of this. Like just the way he thinks and the way he looks at life. I disagree with him with a lot of things. Putting all of this whole situation aside, I still have some things that I don't agree with him with. And I don't think he's some great, big, powerful businessman. I already said this. I think he is the modern day equivalent of the man on the Uncle Ben's rice. He just figured out a way to get a cut from Uncle Ben's. He still don't own Uncle Ben's rice. That's how I look at Diddy. So this ain't even got nothing to do with him. This whole thing, outside of the corruption, I said this before, the message has gotten lost. The message should be, don't fool with substances. And don't do something you feel like you're going to be ashamed of later, or you're not going to be able to hold your head up after you do it. That should be the message. The message should be to young girls, yes, you're going to meet a man that's going to offer you substances. You should say no. Do not get involved with substances. Yes, you probably are going to meet a guy that you think you like, and you find out he has a girlfriend already. You're probably going to need to walk away from that guy. You're going to meet a guy, you're going to think he's cool until he asks you to do some weird, kinky thing. And you're going to have to be like, I don't do that. That's what dating is. That message is totally not being given, it's being lost, because nobody is being made accountable for their actions except Diddy. That's it. But the accountability on the side of these women who were not physically ever forced to do these things. Ever. They were never given substances without their knowledge. This is from their words. They took them because they were offered them. The message should be, and this is why even regardless of how I feel about what's being done to Diddy, this is another thing that makes me feel like Cassie is a horrible person. Because she's not out here telling young women, like, look, there's going to be men that's going to offer you stuff. There's going to be men that are going to try you. You have to say no. You cannot do things that make you feel like you can't hold your head up tomorrow. That's not what she's doing. What she's doing is basically saying I was a mindless puppet. I had no control over anything I did. I can't be accountable for any decision that I made. That's the narrative that is being floated about her. And I don't like it. I don't like anything about this whole case. And I really feel like we're looking at Diddy and being angry and wanting to condemn Diddy, and we're not watching what the federal government is doing, and that's a problem. They are committing corruption right in front of our eyes, but we just so mad at Diddy, we not even paying attention. And this is how they sneak stuff on us as American citizens. This case is extremely problematic. It's very disturbing to me how people seem almost brainwashed at this point, and how they have been so weaponized against this man who is not a serial unaliver. He wasn't trafficking anybody. This is a guy that was in a DV situation when he was on a lot of substances. That's pretty much that's all that happened here. And he was getting male dancers because he was with the women that were into this swinging voyeurism kink. Because let's just be very clear, all three of these people were into this kink. This would have never went on this long if they weren't into it. And they also went to swinging clubs together outside of this and invited one of the workers to a swinging club. So this is not what people want to make it to be. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. I'm just glad that, he's taking accountability for what happened to him, and he would be the victim in this case. Although I don't think he was taken across state lines. I think it was another guy. But that's another thing. The judge wasn't even clear about who the victim actually is. One minute he talking about escorts, next minute he talking about the women. Who is the victim? So anyhow, I think that what really shook me is I was watching something on my DVR, and it was two male reporters, two white guys, and they both looked like they were about to cry when they were talking about this verdict. So I guess there are some people that see like, not only this is wrong, this is scary. We as citizens should be scared of the court system doing this kind of stuff. Because it doesn't have to be this exact scenario. You could be a person that's been wrongfully accused. You could be a person that just had some parking tickets or didn't go to jury duty. And they say, well, we think you did something else, so we're going to sentence you on that. Yeah, this ain't cool. None of this is cool.
Thank you. Wayne?
Yeah, well, on the most part, I don't think most people use drugs and getting caught up in stuff like this and will probably never even run or have, be in the court system trying to defend himself over this. My thing is that, Diddy, you got sentenced. Okay? I always say, give me lemons and I'll make lemonade. Rather than take this time, something like you're being confined, do something positive with it. Take this time, make a better you. Okay, you may get out sooner, you may do the whole 50 or whatever it is, but this is the time to work on you. You got a lot of time to do it, and you can come out a whole lot better than you went in. That's it.
Thank you. In my opinion?
Well, I stand by my decision. I made mine a long time ago. I really think you can't be found guilty if you ain't did nothing. Okay, and we all know he done does something. To me, I feel like he should do these 50 months, all of them. Okay, I ain't even mad at the 5 years supervised because he might need to be supervised after he get out. Maybe he'll learn to keep his hands to himself. Maybe he's learning a lesson. I don't know. But here's my thing. I don't want none of our people being beat. Okay? I don't want none of our people being used. I don't want none of our people having to pick whether they want to be beat or get the money. That shouldn't be a choice.
None of our
I just
people were
feel like
involved in this.
if you gotta beat somebody, then leave them. Okay? Keep your hands to yourself.
Thank you. In my opinion. Felicia, any thoughts?
I do have a thought. I'm going to go back to your story. May I do that?
Yes, you can.
Thank you so much. So the article was about what Sheree Hayes. I think, and I stand with you, Callie. I don't know who the victim is, depending on the day or the hour. It seems like it could be anywhere between 4 and 5 people. But my understanding that the worker, the commercial worker, Sheree Hayes, he was one of the victims. And so I looked up who should read how should a victim statement be presented in a court? So it says that the victim themselves have the choice to read their victim statement in court, or they can have another party read it on their behalf, such as an advocate, a family member, or even a prosecutor. Some victims may prefer to simply submit their statement in writing to the judge to be read rather than presented orally. It is crucial to communicate your preference to the court or the prosecutor in advance. Now, I saw a couple of articles where Mr. Hayes said that he wanted to let the courts know that he felt that time served was time enough and that he wanted to make a statement. And he was at the courts yesterday, and he was actually in court, and he did not do that. I don't want to say it was because the prosecution didn't allow, because it says here that it's up to the victim to decide. So I'm wondering if they didn't consider him a victim, even though they called him in as one. And so there's so many blurry areas in this case. However, I'm glad to know that he showed up, and I'm glad to know that Gina wrote a statement and said she wasn't showing up because she wasn't the victim, and they wanted to pinpoint her as victim number 3. And the ones who said they were victims, 1 and 2, 2 being Jane Doe, she said she wasn't coming, and 1 said she was coming, which is Cassie Carolyn Ventura, and she was a no-show. You're supposed to have victims in a case who are so outraged and want the level of what is recommended by the parole board to be enforced, not the 13th juror, as Judge Judge Aaron has been identified, and a descriptive of being an intellectual, diabolical person. And so the 13th juror decided to come up and give a lot of statements on things that Mr. Combs had been acquitted for, but he used that behavior in his closing remarks. So I'm very sorry that Mr. Hayes didn't get to speak, because I think that would have also brought down the time, the 50 maybe to 35. So I'm done. But I think that's something for us to all keep in mind about victims and victim statements and why they're so important when they're presented to the court.
I appreciate you. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all for being here and spending your Saturday night with me. Much love. Thank you for coming through. In regards to Tyrese, you left Nana in that house alone with them dogs, and that was dead wrong in and of itself. And Nana probably forgot to feed them dogs, so they bust loose out that gate, and they went looking for food. And unfortunately, Henry is gone because they found it. Then you put them dogs in hiding. Tyrese, you want to play around with these courts after you saw what happened to Diddy? Don't be a fool. You got a $20,000 bond. $20,000. And I'm not minimizing Henry's life. But $20,000 and the dog is gone. And there's people gone. I keep going back to the cheerleader who's home with her parents right now with an ankle bracelet on, and the body is gone, and her thing I don't even think was that high. In regards to Eric Adams, now your business gonna be on Front Street, because this PYT, she had to leave her job, her $160K job, because you decided to drop out the mayoral race. And she said you should have stayed in, but she didn't care about you and the people of New York. She wants you to stay in so she could have kept her job. But now that she can, she got to write a book. and hope that rakes in the cash for her. But that's what you signed up for, Aaron. And Denise Richards, she ain't playing. She locked the hubby out of all the accounts. But whether you the male in the relationship, the female in the relationship, God bless the child that had his own. I'm not going to be sitting around here. I don't care how much money you make, and I ain't working. I'm going to do me a little side gig. I'm going to have something on the side. So when you say I got to go, I'm not begging you for bread so I can find me a place to lay my head. Not going to happen. And this team, may she rest in peace. Something ain't right with all of that, whatever happened over there. And Sheree the Punisher, who was truly one of the victims, even he said this sentence is excessive. And we got a new, at least I do over here, name for what this judge is doing. Judge Aaron Submaranian is called intellectual diabolical. He's intellectually diabolical, and he played in our face every time. Submit your paperwork and let me know where Diddy's going to stay if I do give him a bail. They went and got the secured the apartment in New York and did all this stuff so the judge could come back and say you too dangerous. Well, bro, you knew I was dangerous before you told me to go make a plan. He's diabolical. I appreciate y'all because I'm about to get worked up. Then let me get out of here. Because we had 2 late nights in a row. Good night, goodbye, everybody. Choo, choo.